one subject. So effectively, when you take the 12,009 and the 20,000, you got 32,000, almost 33,000, barely a little difference for those who did well. 2019, the story changed. With the introduction of the tutorial program and the additional interventions we put in on Saturdays and the lectures and the encouragement, what happened in 2019? In 2019, 38,000 students took the exam. In 2019, 10,771 of them failed all the subjects. In 2018, 20,000 of them failed all the subjects. In 2019, 10,700 of them failed all the subjects. Proportionally, looking at the total that took the exam and the total that failed all the subjects, 61% of the students in 2018 failed all the subjects, all 9. Some of them making 0 from the papers that were reviewed. In 2019, 28% failed all the subjects, meaning from 61% in 2018 to 28% in 2019. That is a remarkable improvement. It is for that reason that we lifted the lift on the student a little bit and allowed one student passing one subject to participate in the graduation ceremony. In 2019, 27,000 students who sat the exam passed at least one subject. In 2018, it was only 12,000 that passed. The relationship in 2018 was 38% of the students who passed one subject. In 2019, it's 71% of the students who passed at least one subject. Now, when you say at least one subject, you either pass 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, because all of those numbers begin with 1. So we're just talking about the one alone. Let's go to 2020 and see what happens. In the midst of COVID, with all the tutorial program we started from the beginning of the year up to March when we shut down, see what happened. 9,000 students sat the exam. 9,360 failed all the subjects. That's only 3% of the 9,000. So if you look at the relationship, you will see a progression that is favoring the school system. We're not just sitting there marking time. We are investing in it. Now, I really don't care who says what or criticizes otherwise. It's not my business. My business with my team is to get this job done. We'll get this job done. God willing. Now, between now and the next 3-4 years, we have already programmed that this progression will be going downwards, not upwards in terms of failures, and will be going upwards in terms of passing. These are the hopes that we have. Let me tell you the number of students that pass at least one subject. 32,000 of the 39,000 students that sat the exam pass at least one subject. Whereas in 2018, 27,000 of the 38,000 passed at least one subject. And in 2018, only 12,000 of the 33,000 passed one subject. There has to be something happening. Ain't magic. I want to thank the school leadership, the principals, the teachers for the result that we see. But this is not a result that I want to see. Personally, some people may be happy with this, but as an old teacher who difficult to just let grades go, this is not what we want to see. But this is what we are beginning to see, leading to what we want to see. And we want to say thank you to all those who have made this happen, including parents. I want to also thank USAID, because this was the first time that somebody gave the students a dime during the examination period. I understand there are still a few thousand students who have not processed the papers to get their money. The USAID created a team, their own NGO, to distribute $3 million at $50 per student to the total number of students that sat this particular exam. And we want to commend them for it. I just want to let them know that, of course, another group of students coming to take the test this year, but it probably will say, well, there's no COVID, so we're not going back there, but whatever happened, that's it. Now, let's emphasize on 2020. 2020, we're not talking about people passing with credits. Students, the number of students that passed the exam with credits, passing both math and English, 167. The year before, that was not the case. And in fact, 2018 was just 2. So the story tells us that we are moving upward. Pass with credits. Pass with credit means from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what we call credit. And that's what we're going. Because 4 years from now, including this year, 4 years from now, we expect that our students will be passing 5 subjects with credit for colleges to pick them up. All right. We have 25 students who pass with credits, including mathematics and English. 25 students. Deputy Minister, we need to arrange to get these 25 students and have a conversation with them. And it's among these students that the President has granted a scholarship to one student, the top performing. And the top performing students on these exams are females, girls. All right, so we need to give them, now we have to now start struggling with gender equality, so that the fact that the girls are performing, we got to now try and catch up. Otherwise, we got to go to gender ministry to begin to protect us against the girls. But basically, this is the kind of gender equality that I like to really see. Now, there are 2 students that pass 7 subjects. All 7 subjects, they pass all 7. Okay? Then, there are 12 students that pass at least 6 subjects. So, these are things that never happened. 2018, 2019, these are not things that happened. 2019, it happened even with COVID. No thanks to COVID, of course. But basically, we just want to say thanks for that. Students who pass 5 subjects, 51 of them. Students who pass at least 3 subjects. Is it 3 subjects? 4 subjects. 852. And then we come down the road. Let me go back now. At least these were students. Okay, these students are students who pass with credits. I'm now going down to the category of people who pass, whether with credit or without credit, but they pass. Students who pass all 9 subjects. It has to be science students, because only science students did all 9 subjects. Some science students. The science student had the option not to do literature, but some of them even did literature. And guess what? Of these students, 42 of them sat 9 subjects and passed all 9 subjects. We need to get their names also and make big show out of these folks. We need to make sure that their names are published and give them some credit. This doesn't happen all of the places. The number of students that pass at least 7 subjects, we're not talking about with credit now, 1,000. The number of students that pass at least 5 subjects, we're not talking about credit, is 6,000. The number of students that pass 3 subjects, 3 subjects. The last time when we had this meeting with the students, they told us if we pass 3 subjects, then we are eligible to participate in the graduation ceremony. Guess the number of students that pass the 3 subjects? 18,222 students. Unheard of. But it happened. The year before that, 11,000 of them passed 3 subjects. The year before that, 274. Story has changed. The number of students that passed the minimum of 2 subjects, 25,000. That's good. And of course, the number of students that passed 1 subject, 32,000. So when they say pass at least 1 subject, it means you could have also passed 2, you could have passed 3, you could have passed 4. We're not adding these numbers up. This is the 12s are in the 11, the 11s are in the 10s, and it goes down up to this number. So without taking 32,000 plus 25,000, if you pass at least one subject, you could have passed 3, you could have passed 4, you could have passed 5. But the fact that you pass 5 means you pass at least 1. So the total number of students in that category is 32,173. That's 81% of the students who sat the exam, folks. This is commendable. And we want to tell them thank you for just the initiative. But guess what? Next year, you have to pass 3 subjects. And you have to pass either math or English with credit. We try to be flexible. Next year, you must pass 3 subjects before you participate in graduation ceremony. And you must pass at least math among that number. The year after that, you must pass 4 subjects. That's 2022. You must pass 4 subjects. And when you pass the 4 subjects, you must at least pass the math and the English without emphasizing with credit. If you pass with credit, we'll be happy. In year 4, you must pass 5 subjects. And those 5 subjects, that's year 3. And those 5 subjects, math and English, have to be inside, whether with or without credit. When we go to the 4th year, beginning from this year we are in, this academic year, you must pass 5 subjects with credit to become eligible for colleges and universities. Guess how we intend to do that? We have decided as a ministry and education stakeholders to evaluate the students at the 9th grade level. At the 9th grade, you must pass the 9th grade full test exam to be eligible to go to 10th grade, beginning this year. If you don't pass the 9th grade exams, you're not going to 10th grade. Because the way the curriculum has now been done, it is career driven. When you get to 10th grade, you can now choose to go to science path. When you get to 10th grade, you can choose you don't want to go to science, you want to go to the arts. When you get to 10th grade, you want to do some vocational courses with arts. It's up to you. So that means once you get 10th grade now, you are selecting who you want to be in the future. Therefore, you cannot go to 10th grade unprepared. And the examination that your teachers normally draw are drawn from lessons that they have taught you personally. The examination that is drawn on the global basis that your teachers don't draw are exams that are drawn from the curriculum that your teachers said they taught you. But the exams are not drawn by them. And therefore, if you pass those kind of exams, then you're ready to go far. Now, there are 4 subjects. There's mathematics, there's language arts, there's a science course, and 1 social science course, either geography or social studies. Those 4 subjects are what the people in the junior, in the 9th grade will take. Those 4 subjects, beginning this year, this particular year we're in, 2020, 2021, you must pass mathematics and English before you go to 10th grade. So even the 9th grade, we're trying to be flexible with you now. We are not saying you have to pass all 4, but you must pass minimum of 2, which is 50%. And if you pass those 2 with credit, that means that 50 plus 1%. And then you sail on to 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. Now, if you want to be a science student, then you must pass the science subject, so that when the people who are interviewing you and accepting you in 10th grade can say, we believe that this boy or this girl is prepared to go on with this. So these are the criteria. Additionally, to strengthen the system some more, we are introducing the 3rd grade examination this year. When the student go to school from ABC to 3rd grade, that's 6 years of school. Those 6 years, who will test you at 10th grade. And at 3rd grade level, you only taking 2 subjects, Language arts, is it language arts?
Yes.
Language arts and arithmetic. You call it math? Okay, math. That one I call that one arithmetic. But if you pass those two subjects, then you go to 4th grade. Of course, the students at the 3rd grade are not going to repeat the class because they didn't pass this test. That's not what we want to do. These tests are intended to determine, because the kids are small, the tests are intended to evaluate the teachers and the work that they are doing. So once the kids are small, their minds are open to learn. If the teachers don't teach, the student will not learn. It's not even at the senior high level where you say, oh, the students are going to do this and that. The very early years, the children are concentrating. If they don't pass, it's because you teachers are not helping them to pass. So it is the teacher's evaluation that is coming at that particular point. 3rd grade. Then when you reach to 6th grade, you will take 4 subjects. We are not letting students fail in the 6th grade either because of the 4 subjects. But it will also help us to evaluate the quality of knowledge they have going up to upper basic, which is 7, 8, and 9. It gives us a clue as to who is likely to do well in the 9th grade exam. Because the same 4 subjects, but at their level, at the 6th grade. Now, if you take 3rd grade, and you take 6th grade, and take 9th grade, and take 12th grade, and still fail all the subjects, then I don't know what we can do with you in this part of the world. But God willing, this is the challenge that we have. And I just want to announce that there are 16 schools that all of their students fail all of the subjects. But even that, let me just let you know. In 2018, 138 students failed all the subjects. 2019, that number reduced to 46 schools whose students failed all the subjects. This year, it's down to 16. Now, I'm going to call the name of the schools and the country that they're from. And since I call the name of the school, the principals just begin to start writing the name down, because basically, if this is public school, you're in trouble with us. We will check these 16 schools. If these 16 schools in 2020 are among the 46 schools in 2019, and if these 16 schools, being part of the 46, are also part of the 138 in 2018, these schools cannot continue as a senior high school. I mean, if you guys don't agree with me, you'll let me know now or forever hold your peace. If you're running a school and 3 years in succession, you're sending students to do an examination, and now one person in any of those classes, in any of the years, can fail, can pass any of the subjects, then we need to relegate the school to 9th grade. Journalists, I know this is for discussion. You can share your thoughts with us. You got my number. You got the deputy's number. You can share your thoughts with them. But you tell us, if you were a minister, what you would be doing. All right? Now let's go on to this. And I just want to share that with you. Yeah, the name of the schools I have on. All right. The first school here is William C. Jones Academy. And William C. Jones Academy is a private school in Monserrado County. Brilliance Academy School System is a private school in Monserrado County. Uriah B. Fremont United Methodist School is a private school in Grand Cape Mount County. Zozo Christian Academy, you already know where that one is. It's a private school in Lofa County. And we have International Mission Academy. It's a private school in Magibi. Visionary School System is a private school in Magibi County. Now I'm calling these private schools because some people were thinking that all the people who didn't perform the public school. These are private schools. So there are private schools that are west of tuition based, that are west of the public schools, that are calling their name, and we will publish it. If you want to send your children there, you're welcome, but we will publish it because this is no school to put your children. I say that without anything, especially if this 16 is part of the 446 and part of the 138. Let's go on further. Coon Town Public School, of course, I said public school, that's Montserrat. Then we have Christian Faith Mission School. Christian Faith Mission School is private school in Montserrat. And we have David D. Mayen Vocational Academy. That's a private school in Montserrat. And we have Christian High School. That's a public school. No, that's a private school in Nima County. We have Boutro High School. That's a public school in Nima County. We have Tapeta United Methodist School. That's a private school in Nima County. And we have William Arrow Thomas Memorial High School. That's a private school in Nima County. And we have Sacré-Pied Central High School. That's a public school in Nima County. This principle is in trouble with us already. I just want to list these 16 schools. We'll put it on our website. We'll also publish it, so in no secret. And then any of these schools want to challenge their result, they're welcome. You can go to WIAC and challenge their result. I want to say thank you for listening. We have a number of other things to go to. We're going straight to the Deputy for Administration because we have two other items we're talking about. The employment of new teachers to replace the retirees and the 1 million that the president and the government of Liberia have provided as honorarium to private school teachers. We now pass the gavel to the microphone to
Thank you.
Deputy Data.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you guys for being here. Like the Minister said, we are happy. We're not satisfied, but we are happy with the progress the Liberia educational school system is making. He went through some of the data for you to see the upward progressions we made in the last 3 years. We are hopeful with the interventions that are in place now and ones that are coming, that the educational sector is going to get better. We want to get Liberia back to our glory days where our system was one of the envies of Africa, where other people send their children to Liberia back in the days to go to school. We believe we can get this system there under the leadership of this president. I have several issues to go through, but let me first go back to the minister did not just list those 16 counties, 16 schools because he wanted to. Those 16 schools are not allowed to host graduation. If they host graduation, we will shut them down for good. Let me repeat, the 16 schools are not allowed to host graduation in this republic. Any school name that was called that hosts a graduation will be shut down for good. Those 16 schools represents the worst of what our children can do, and we don't want to hear any of them host graduation. We will list their names on our website, and we will give it to the press. If one of them hosts a graduation, we will shut them down for good. We also want to make clear, and I think the minister spoke on this last week, all schools should prepare for graduation in January. No school should have graduation this year. If you have graduation this year, you will be fined $1 million Liberian dollars. We started the fine at $350,000. We have found 2 schools, Light International. They wrote a letter of apology and they paid the fine. We had the same problem with Haywood. Haywood owner came last week and met with the minister, apologized for what he said to the press. He has been mandated to write an apology letter and bring that letter to the ministry with the fine.
In December, as he requested, so we granted
good.
him.
The minister granted him up to December to pay the fine. And he will go back to the press and retract the statement he made saying the ministry did not have the authority to fine him. We are waiting for that press conference from the Hill owner, or we will proceed with the actions that we wanted to proceed with. What are those actions? As we said, if you violate and you host graduation, you will be fined $1 million. If you don't pay that $1 million, we will revoke your permit. We will remove your name for WIAC, and you will never be allowed to host government exams in this country. So essentially, nobody will go to your school because your 12th graders will not write, your 9th graders will not write, and your 6th graders will not write, because your schools will be dropped from WIAC listing. This is not a bluff. This is serious because we have health concerns in the country. COVID is still around, and there's a second wave of COVID, and it's something that we all have to be mindful about. And the minister is serious about this. This is not a gimmick. It's not a game. So as soon as schools receive the results, you can collect your graduation fees and prepare for January. With the exceptions of universities. Universities now have been granted certain permissions if they meet all of the health criteria to have graduation in stadiums or open spaces, to work with the Ministry of Health, a task force to ensure that there is social distancing and that all the requirements, all the protocols are met to have your graduation. So if you see a university that is having a graduation, that means they've been approved by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with higher education. But for the 12th grade level down, we've asked them to wait until January. We've met with the Principals Association, Teachers Associations, and we've talked to them. We don't expect to see graduation. We will depend on the public. If there's a graduation in your community, please contact us. 1416. You contact us, we'll be able to move in right away and handle it. And this is not because we don't want the kids to celebrate. Some of us have nephews, children, nieces, all the ministers here too, they're not born. But the risk is too high. And we hope our young people understand that. Increase in fees. Upon the minister's instruction, we have established a task force. The minister takes this seriously, and you guys were there when he went to the Liberian legislature, I think about a month ago. This is a serious issue. Now that registration is going on, we want the public to understand this. No private school is supposed to change their fees unless they have a letter from the Ministry of Education saying we evaluated and they met the criteria to increase the fees. That means our team went there and we saw all the new improvements they made, all the air conditioning they put in the classroom, and they upped the fees. If a school changes the fees without that notice from the ministry, we want the PTA to inform the ministry, and parents should not pay that fees. We do not want the public abuse. We do not want the public, people just arbitrarily increasing school fees because they're trying to make up for the loss during COVID time. That's not what we want. So please, for private schools, any school that have increased their fees from last year to this year should be able to show you, a parent, that letter from the ministry signed by the minister that says we evaluated and we see reason for your school fees to be increased. If you don't see that letter, the PTA of that school should not accept that increase. For public schools, in our national calendar, the fees for all levels are stated there. For high school, it's 3,000 Liberian dollars. For middle school, or junior high school as we call it, it's 2,000, and for the lower level, it's 1,000. There is a special exception that has been agreed upon by the ministry, the Parents and Teachers Association of MCSS, and the MCSS school system. All public schools in the MCSS school system are paying $6,700. All public schools outside of MCSS are paying only 3,000 Liberian dollars
For senior high.
for senior high. Please get this when you go write your articles. If you are a public school and you are a high school in Liberia, you are taking only 3,000 Liberian dollars. If you are in a public school that is part of MCSS, it is $6,700
For senior high.
for senior high only. Everything else is the same. Junior high, elementary is the same, 2,000, 1,000. And there's a reason for that, and that amount was agreed upon by the parents and the teachers in the administration of MCSS and the Ministry of Education. I know there has been noise about that. At least you have the clarity now. Thank you. All public school students outside of MCSS are paying their fees via mobile money. There has been a lot of complaints coming to us where they say, oh, they're charging us to pay. Nobody charging you, you're free. The reason they're charging you is because you're going to some vendor and that vendor charging you your own fee. You can pay your fees from your own mobile money. Just go to Lone Star, it's free. Mobile money free. And there is no cost attached to you because the Ministry of Education is paying that cost already. You only pay an extra cost if you go to some vendor sitting on the roadside, it too will eat a small thing. So we encourage parents and students to go and register your own mobile money, pay from your own mobile money because it's free. You're not paying anything when it comes to paying your fees. This is something we want you to know. I'm about to go through a lot of numbers, and I want you guys to take these numbers because they are very critical numbers and understand some of the challenges we are having. As the minister said, due to COVID, schools were closed. Yourself while you're waiting for your main thing to come. So it was the president's will that he instructed the minister and his team to do some small honorarium for private school teachers. Upon the instruction of Minister Sonii, a task force was established. The task force consists of Ministry of Education, the Civil Service Agency, the Ministry of Finance and Development and Planning, the Internal Audit Agency, and we invited the National Teacher Association, but they said due to lack of capacity, they were not able to sit on this task force, but they are present on the task force for the teachers recruitment. So let me go through what has been done so far and the numbers, and this is critical because you guys have to get the numbers right. Announcements were made, information was shared throughout the 15 counties to our DO and CEOs, and we have started collecting data, or we started collecting data a long time ago. The task force has also written a communication to the Ministry of Finance and Developmental Planning to allot the $1 million and put it in an escrow account. That means take it from government revenue and put it aside. That letter was received and approved by the Finance Minister, Samuel Litue. So that money will be removed from government revenue and put in an escrow account. And then from that escrow account, disbursement will start. Who are eligible to receive this? Teachers. The president said teachers. Not all staff in the school. So who are considered teachers? Anyone who's teaching, anybody who's a dean, anybody who's a principal, or anybody who's a vice principal. These people that are involved are considered teachers. In order to be eligible to get this money, we have asked all schools to submit few documents. This is what they are supposed to submit. I'll be taking breaks because it's hot and I can't stand heat. We have asked them to submit a valid operational permit, signed copies of 3 months payroll for 2020, January, February, and March, which means prior to COVID, these people were on your payroll. We don't want people to automatically just appear on your payroll because of their money. So send us 3 copies of your payroll, which we will use to verify with LRA because you pay taxes with your teachers. So January, February, and March 2020 payroll should be submitted to us. That's very important. We also have asked that the full name of that teacher, the gender, the position, the teaching level, and most importantly, the national identification number be submitted. Those are the criteria that we will use to pay those teachers. How far are we now in the process? The first batch of applications have ended. We will extend it and we announce the extension, but where are we now is important for us to let you know. So far, we received applications from 711 schools. 711 schools. Of the 711 schools, 134 of those schools do not have permits, which means 134 don't have legal status. So of the 711 schools that submitted, the schools that have legal status is 577. 577 schools have legal status. Of the 577 schools, the total amount of teaching staff submitted to us is 10,124. Of the 577, the teaching staff eligible for this money is 10,124 people. You got that statistic, right? Good. Now, of the 10,124 people, 3,568 of them don't have a national identification number. Of the 10,124 teachers that we have in our possession right now, 3,568 don't have national identification number. We are working with the NIR right now to find ways to get these teachers national identification number. But from our last year's survey, our email survey that we've done, we believe there should be around 31,500 teachers in the private school. Remember now, we have names for only 10,124, and we believe there is about 31,591 teachers in the school in the private sector. So we are way below the number of people that we believe are supposed to get this money. So of the 10,124, 4,153 of them have national identification number. So 4,153 teachers have a NIR number. I hope you're getting that. So those were the people that we started to work with, the task force. Of the 4,153, 134 of them are on government payroll. So they are teaching in government schools, they also teaching in private schools. And that's the reason why we are using the NIR number, because if everybody's NIR number is used, we will be able to identify those that are teaching in both private and public schools. So of the 4,153, we have taken out 134 who are working for government, but also want to benefit from this process, and they can benefit from the process. So we are down to about 4,020 people that are eligible right now to get that money. The task force is working vigorously, and we believe latest by mid-December, because this takes a lot of work. Some people think when they say you got 1 million, you just take money, you just start giving a no. This has to be done methodically, effectively, because at the end of the day, we have to account to the Liberian people who got that 1 million, what criteria was used to distribute that 1 million, and we should be able to provide records transparently to show that this was done correctly. Yeah. So it might be taking time, but it's all for the best reasons. We want to do this and do it the right way, and our task force is working day in and day out. It's a tedious process, but again, we believe by mid-December we should start disbursement. And what we are going to do is we are going to start to pay those people who are eligible, and as more applications come and we do validations, we'll keep paying people. But the first 4,020 people, we believe at this point, who are eligible should start receiving payment as soon as that money is put in a escrow account, and we can start working from there. So again, those are the numbers for the $1 million distribution. Nobody's eating the money. The money is there, and those who are supposed to get it will get it. We are doing teachers recruitment because of the huge retirement in our system. We have retired within a very short period of time over 2,000 plus teachers. 2,200 teachers in a very short period of time. That simply means we have big gaps in our educational system in the classroom. For every teacher that is retired, that's a vacancy left in the classroom that somebody has to cover quickly so that we don't have problems in the classroom. That is why we are vigorously working on teachers recruitment. And the minister has given me strong instructions that by the end of this year, if we don't fill in all those places, we should fill in most of them. And that's a huge task. That's why you see, guys, we can talk plenty, but we're working all night. And it's difficult sometimes too. But we have another task force in the Ministry of Education currently that's specifically handling that. All of the work we are doing, because of transparency, we've decided that this should be done collaboratively. So even with the Teachers Recruitment Task Force, it is the Ministry of Education, the Civil Service Agency, the Ministry of Finance, the National Teachers Association. Everybody has a member on the task force, so that in the end, they can say, oh, pursuant to all and everything you put there in the classroom. And all the teachers, all the people that they hired, if you did, that's no minister families. That's not what we want. We want people to get hired based on qualification, experience, so that our children can get educated well. The application process has ended. We have received applications from approximately over 800 applicants. Plus, we had thousands of people already volunteering in our classroom. The task force is collecting the volunteers listing from all of the different counties, bringing it to Monserrato. Then the vetting process will begin. Everybody who gets hired will be vetted properly, go through the interview process, and when you get hired, we can guarantee the public that the best people will be selected for our classrooms. This is now who do you know. And even if I know somebody, that person should be very much qualified, more than even what we're looking for. But the idea is we want this to be transparent, and we want this to be done properly because the beneficiaries are the Liberian children, and we want our classrooms to be done. So it's a lot of work going on in the ministry right now. A lot of work. I'm sure before we close, the minister will speak a little bit about the distribution that is about to take place. That's something, Prof, just give them a little briefing on. We're about to do huge distribution for COVID. I think the minister will speak on that. But for me to close, I just want the public to know we will continue to bring you information on all of the happenings in the Ministry of Education. And there's a lot of things happening in the Ministry of Education right now. So thank you.